Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode of Sport Talk. I am your host Evan, and today I am joined by Preston and Lucas. And today we have a very good basketball episode for you guys, lots of good topics, and we haven't done a basketball one in a very long time because football has kind of been going crazy, but this one's going to be a good one, I promise you guys. But before we start, make sure to follow us on YouTube at Sport Talk and Instagram and TikTok at sport.talkpodcast. And we'll get into the first topic. So the NBA All-Star Game was 2 weeks ago, and I know this is a little bit late, but one of the biggest things that came out of that was how poorly the dunk contest was. I was in attendance for it, and I was very underwhelmed. I was expecting something great, and it was one of the worst, I think, that I have seen. And so that everyone's been asking how they can improve the dunk contest, and I just want to get your guys' thoughts on what you think they can do to improve it. Lucas, we'll start with you first.
All right, well, as I've been doing some research on this project, I have stumbled upon something that I had never heard about before. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about. Did you know that there was once a dunk contest that included King Griffey Jr. and Deion Sanders? So the Foot Locker every year held a dunk contest with all the sports stars, like the biggest athletes. They had a dunk contest between them. There was money on the line. I mean, it brought in tons of people. It packed out every arena like they were in. And they had big names like Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, Deion Sanders, King Griffey Jr. I mean, names that they're crazy. And they would just do a normal dunk contest. And they were super athletic, obviously. So they were doing sweet dunks. And I think the NBA should go back to it where they have a bracket to where one side is these guys. So it's athletes from other sports. So you could get imagine you could get Calvin Johnson or Mike Trout or some studs from every other sport. Because you see viral videos of these non-basketball players doing sweet dunks.
Yeah.
And then you also get professional dunkers to go against them on one side of the bracket. On the other side of the bracket, you have NBA players, and they do their contest or whatever, and they get to the final round to where it's an athlete or a pro dunker versus an NBA player. I think that would bring so much more. It'd be new, so some people would watch, and it would. You're gonna have dudes who are professional dunkers, so you will see a good dunk. So it's not like you're gonna see dudes miss 3 times and never get to dunk like we did this year, which was horrendous. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think that would be something that they should adapt to. I think it'd be sweet.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that would be really cool, bringing in other athletes from different sports. Because we saw in the celebrity game, Myles Garrett was dunking on everybody, and that'd be kind of cool to see Myles Garrett, or I'm sure there's a lot of baseball players that could probably slam some dunks.
Yeah, Mike Conley's dad was actually a long jumper and won one of these dunk contests. He jumped from 2 feet behind the free throw line and dunked.
Jeez.
Which is insane.
Yeah, that would bring a new kind of sense to it, and it would just be something brand new that no one's ever done, which I think would probably increase their viewership.
Yeah, and expand the fan base.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you get baseball and football players, you're going to get baseball fans, football fans, plus NBA fans. If I'm the NBA, I'm totally doing this. You're going to get more views, more money, more people coming. That's a win-win on every part. I would see there's no reason why not to do it.
I think some other ways that they can improve it is I think they need to put a bigger money line on it to make it an incentive for these guys to do it. Because most of the big name dunkers that we really want to see have all said, I'm just an in-game dunker, I'm not going to do it. But if you say hey, if you win you get $20,000 or $10,000 or something like that, then they're going to be oh okay, I get some extra money. That's the highest driving for most people, so then they might rethink doing that.
Well, if you think about the old dunk contests too, you had MJ, Dominique Wilkins, Vince
Carter.
Those were the top players in the NBA doing the dunk contest.
Yeah.
So if you can get back to that point to where you could have the top players in the dunk contest, who would not love to see Ja in the dunk contest? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd be electric.
And Russell Westbrook a couple years ago, LeBron a couple years ago. You could get some really, really sweet dunkers in there.
Yeah, but now they just have rookies and no-name role players that can.
What was Cole Anthony doing in there? I
thought he was going to be a little bit better than he was, but he was very disappointing.
That was horrendous.
Yeah, I also think I don't know why they did this or when they changed it, but the amount of attempts that they let them have was way too many.
3, yeah.
I mean, it used to be 3, but like Jalen Green at one point had I think 9 or 10 attempts with the same dunk, and I was like, how is none of these counting as an attempt? So I think they need to go back to the 3 attempts. But I also think something that's really easy to do is just put it earlier in the night, because the dunk contest hype has gone down so much that I would honestly, like, I was there for All-Star, was it Saturday night, and I watched the 3-point contest. I was more hyped for the 3-point contest than it was for the dunk contest. So put the 3-point contest last, put the dunk contest in like the middle after the Rising Stars, and I mean it's
3-point contest is always going to be competitive because you never know who's going to be hot that night, and you're also having the best shooters. Like the dunk contest, you're not getting the best dunkers, but 3-point competition, you're for sure getting the best 3-point shooters. So it's a lot more competitive and like always close, and I think that's why it's more fun to watch now. Back in the day when they had the best dunkers in the league, that's why the dunk contest was so much better.
Yeah.
But now that they don't have anyone, they have like Cole Anthony and all these. I don't even know who the dude from the Warriors was.
Toscano.
Speaking on that, I think they should bring Curry and Clay back for the 3-point contest.
I think Curry was in it this year, but Clay wasn't.
Curry was in it?
I think so. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't think he was.
I don't know. I like seeing Luke Kennard in there, but how about
Curry wasn't.
How about a center winning it?
Yeah, that was
crazy.
That was awesome.
Okay,
really
but
cool.
to add on the dunk contest, I feel like you have to pay more money, like you guys said, but it's because like the reason these big names won't come out is because they're known so well for being in-game dunkers and stuff that if they come out and they do perform badly or whatever and just get unlucky or whatever, people's opinions of them are just going to go straight down. And if they do really good, there's no really reward. So basically, you're just taking a chance. Your reward's nothing, and the downside to it is you looking bad. So there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think if they up it, like the money. I mean, if we have a dunk contest of healthy Zion, Ja, Anthony Edwards, like some other guy, like, I'm watching that, and I think the majority of the NBA fans will watch that, and that would probably be one of the most viewed dunk contests since like old.
Oh
games.
yeah, for sure.
But I do like your bracket idea and bringing in like different people from different sports and like pro dunkers and stuff. But I can as fun as it would be, I think it might be a little difficult for them to bring like athletes from different areas. But it would be really sweet if they could.
Yeah, if they could, that'd be so sweet.
Yeah, but I think if they just do like NBA players and pro dunkers, I think that would be cool because they have like little dunk contests with like pro dunkers that they have celebrities host and judge and stuff, and there's these dudes that do some crazy like dunks that I've never seen before, and I think that would be more. I mean, obviously, I don't think the NBA players would probably like that, but I think it would be a lot more entertaining if you.
Killigan in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you're gonna put the pro dunkers in there without other athletes, I think it's just gotta be a pro dunkers dunk contest and no NBA players, because no NBA player is gonna want to go in and look stupid because these random dudes who can't play basketball but are really good at jumping are doing these insane dunks, and then you're gonna look like an idiot because you play basketball but you can't dunk as good as them.
So I think a separate thing.
Yeah, I think that's why I liked the bracket thing, to where like they did their own thing and then they did their own thing, and finally they could play each other. I think that was the best way of putting it, or maybe not even have pro dunkers in it. I don't know. I just think with the pro dunkers, it's very, very touchy because like if you bring pro dunkers in, you're not going to get a lot of the best dunkers because they're not going to look as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should do it. I think, honestly, personally, I would do an NBA dunk contest first. And then after you get the winner of the NBA dunk contest, and then you do like... So you have like an NBA dunk contest winner, best dunker in the NBA or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like you have a best dunker in the world.
Yeah, that would be
type
sweet.
of contest after. So that guy can be in it who won the NBA dunk contest as well, but as well as the best dunkers in the world.
I like that. They definitely need to look at options because what's going on right now is just not working.
Yeah.
We need to get back to the 2016 hype.
That was one of the best dunk contests.
It's hard to live up to that.
Yeah, that set such a high standard that you can't. But I think what would also be cool is if they had like a winners dunk contest. They brought like Zach LaVine and the current players that have won in the past to just have and do like the overall winner, kind of like you said, the world champion, but like the overall NBA champion. I think would be cool if the players would be willing to do that. I mean, that's the biggest part.
Let's bring back MJ. Put him in the dunk contest.
I'm sure he can dunk a little bit.
Yeah, he can still dunk for sure.
I don't know about that. He is pretty old.
Yeah, he is getting up there, but I don't know. That would be.
I think that'd be sweet. Yeah,
would be Shaq.
all active. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of dunk contests, we said that we'd want to see Zion in the dunk contest, but we're not really seeing much of Zion at all right now because he hasn't played at all this season. He's battled with injuries. And since he's came into the league, the biggest storyline hasn't been how great he's been playing. It's been his injuries and his time off the floor. And there's a lot of people speculating what's happening, stuff behind the scenes. There was something where they just traded for C.J. McCollum, and Zion didn't reach out to him at all, and that was a big red flag for people. And people are questioning Zion's work ethic, if he's really in there, if he's overweight, his weight issues. So there's so much speculation going around Zion, and I was thinking about this the other day, and a lot of people have made this comparisons, but I think Zion, if he keeps this trajectory, he's getting like scary close to being the next Greg Oden.
I agree.
Like, you would have been stupid not to take him number 1 overall. Like, I mean, obviously, I know he had Ja, but he was the unanimous number 1 overall pick. And then, great player in college, shows flashes of being a stud in the NBA, but just can't stay healthy because of injuries. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the reasons that narrative is kind of spinning right now is because of the success of Ja Morant. Mm-hmm. If Ja Morant doesn't have the success he has now, I don't think there's so much pressure on Zion. Yeah. But since Ja's basically already an all-star, probably all NBA MVP candidate, like kind of how KD was when Greg Oden was in the league.
Yeah.
It's just putting so much added pressure on Zion that he can't. Obviously, he can't play right now, so he can't prove them wrong. But I think that's changed. That's increased the narrative that he's more quote unquote bust. I'm not calling him that yet, but he's on his way potentially.
He just seems like he's completely out of it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you've seen also the videos of him falling asleep on the bench or whatever, and then he's not reaching out to any of his new teammates. And I mean, his injury started last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, it should be fixed by now. And if not, he should be very close to be. I mean, I don't understand what he's waiting on.
Yeah, he's had multiple setbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many setbacks you can have. I mean,
we should at least be seeing videos of him in practice. And stuff.
Yeah, he should be in practice doing something.
We saw videos of Clay,
we saw multiple
videos. Oh, yeah. We have seen nothing of him.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he'll be even playing next year.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he just seems completely out of it to me. He's not with the team. He's not. I just don't think he's a great team player. And now they're getting reports of he's not liking the atmosphere there. I'm like, you haven't even been there, 2 years, and you've even played a year and a half of it.
I think he played 61 last year and then 24 his rookie year. So he's barely played a full season.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and you think about, I saw something that said, throwback to LeBron and Zion's, duel they had a couple years, and it was one of the great game that, I was like, oh, it was a great game last year. No, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I just was like, wow,
feels so long ago.
He's been out that long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been thinking, which I think could potentially be a better comparison, is I think if he can get this injury stuff together, I think his career can kind of play out how Joel Embiid's career played out, where his first 2 years he didn't play because of injury. Granted, this one, Zion played more games last year, but we'll discredit that. So he won't play this year and didn't play much his rookie year. And then I think once he gets healthy and then he gets in shape and starts playing more, if he can stay healthy, I genuinely think he can be on the trajectory to be an MVP in 5 or 6 years if he stays healthy and is on the court because he's just that good of a player. So I think there's the big bust side, or there's the wait and see kind of side that he still has some upside in him, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me being optimistic.
I really liked that comp of Joel Embiid because, I mean, for a while he was just like this. He was always hurt. So I think, that's a really good comp. If he can be as good as Joel Embiid, the Pelicans will be good in a couple of years. But, I mean, obviously not everyone returns back from injuries like Joel Embiid. So, I mean, I think it's just something you have to wait and see. But if he can be like Joel Embiid, that'd be great for the Pelicans.
Well, the way he gets there is he's got to lose a weight, man.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to think, so if you just put it into perspective, this guy's jumping like D-Rose, right? Like height-wise.
What is 42-inch vertical?
That's something crazy.
Which is something crazy. So if these high-flying point guards, even Jaw's been rolling ankles, that type of stuff, put one, either D-Rose or Jaw, put him at 200, what is he, 80, 70 maybe?
That's being generous,
Yeah, 270 or 280, and their ankles and legs are done in like
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's what Zion's going through. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got to drop down just because the way he plays. Like he was able to get by in college and stuff just off. You know what I'm saying. It's just different.
He was just so much better than everybody else.
Right,
But now-
and it's just like, but now that you got guys jumping with you, you got way more contact than in college. It's just you're bound to get hurt at that weight, jumping that high.
Yeah, you're right. He's got to lose some weight. And you think, since he's been out for the last year and a half, that'd be great. Let's lose some weight. Let's get on a diet. Let's start, getting some of those workouts. Nope. He's just gaining more weight. He looks the exact same way, even bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just,
Bad path.
it's just not looking good, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a report that currently he's at 317 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
Which, if
Yeah, okay, so, like-
if that report is true, then he can't play.
There's no
You
way.
can't play at 300 pounds.
That's Shaq. That's literally Shaq.
Yeah.
40
But
inches
he-
in the air every play.
But
Exactly.
he's not 7 foot, something like Shaq.
He's
You know what I mean?
6'6".
And he doesn't play like Shaq where he can, oh my.
Could you imagine the pressure on your knees?
Yeah,
Dude, that's I guess that's why he's hurt so much. He's got it.
yeah, because all of his injuries have been major, like ankle and knee injuries.
Like, you gotta
What is he
think,
even
like-
hurt with right now? I don't even know.
I think it's ankle.
His foot is. I don't even know.
When you
Like,
come
No, it's
down,
foot. It's foot.
I mean, he's been gone for so long.
It's. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I think you're right
unbelievable.
about that.
When you come down out of the air like that, normally that's still a lot coming 40 inches out of the air. But when you're 300 something pounds, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is terrible.
You're asking for it.
Yeah, Zion currently has a foot injury, which he had a setback a couple weeks ago, which
course.
will push it back a little bit.
Setbacks are always happening.
Yeah.
But like you alluded to earlier, you were saying how he's kind of not feeling the organization. There were some reports that I was reading into that his parents are upset at David Griffin for how he's handling the injury and kind of how he's.
Okay, at some point, as a parent, when your kid is like 27 years old, you gotta let go and,
I know.
and trust
Yeah.
the coaches. Like, come on now, your kid is now an adult playing in a grown man league. Let the grown men take care of them. They're pros.
Yeah.
So if your parents are still making decisions for you, that is just not good. Your parents should not be involved when you're in the NBA.
Yeah. But
is-
sadly, it happens more than you'd like to think.
Well, it's hard to imagine he's like rehabbing properly and stuff when he can't diet correctly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't have the motive to like lose weight and like keep yourself healthy, you're not gonna have the motive to like, I guess, keep yourself healthy. Like get back from
To
being
get back,
hurt.
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's your
highly
hit the
doubt.
nail on the head there with
Yeah.
that one.
I mean, especially with you said, he just doesn't have. From what you've seen, he doesn't have like he's not in there. Like
He's
doesn't-
just not there.
Yeah, he doesn't have. Which I mean, we're not in his shoes, so we obviously don't know what he's going through. But I've also seen things that, like I mentioned earlier, he didn't talk to CJ when he got there, which was a big deal. He was also like really upset on them not extending Lonzo Ball because he really liked playing with Lonzo.
Playing with Lonzo, he played 10 games and got hurt, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, those 10 games, I guess he really enjoyed playing with them. But so I feel like there's a bit of a rift between the organization and Zion because obviously he's not playing, so you're not getting production on the court, and he's unhappy because people are saying he's trash.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I've seen a lot of things where they're saying, should the Pelicans trade Zion? What do you guys think about that? Or here's so if do you think they should trade Zion, or do you think Zion will be in a Pelicans uniform next season?
This is such a hard question for me because if I'm the Pelicans, I'm like, okay, if I'm wanting to trade my number 1 overall pick 2 years ago, I am wanting a superstar out of this. You know what I mean? I am wanting an all-star level young, like I'm wanting like a Jaylen Brown or like that type of player. If I'm the Celtics, I'm not trading Jaylen Brown for Zion because Zion probably won't touch the floor for me.
Yeah.
So I think he's just going to be so hard to trade because he's so injury prone, and the asking price for him, like what they're going to want for him, is not going to be what they want to give up for an injury prone player.
Yeah.
So I think that's not going to happen. I think he's either. I think he's just going to have to wait out his contract. To be honest with you, because if I'm an owner, I am not trading for Zion right now.
That
I'm
makes
not.
sense.
Because I mean, that means that I would have to give up one of my superstars for him, and I'm not. Well, I wouldn't give up one of my superstars. Heck no.
You have to give a superstar probably plus draft compensation.
Yeah. No way. No way. I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So do you think that if he never like gets back to playing good and like he's like an average bench player and then retires early, You think he could be one of the biggest busts of all time?
Yeah, he had LeBron's height. Like, you got to think of to determine a bust, you got to look at like their height to where they are now. So like most guys are pretty low that you consider a really big bust. Like they go down pretty low, but like none of the guys I would say that have busted, like that end up busting, has been where LeBron's at. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you gotta think, LeBron lived up to his hype, and they're still like, what, like they still are like, why is he not like
gone?
Like, no, why is he like not like they've just gotten like, I don't know, like used to like the way LeBron plays, I guess. Like they're still like not giving him the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
For the hype he was given. And Zion had the same level of hype as Preston said. So I just think that if he doesn't play and he had LeBron's hype, that to me is one of the biggest busts of all time.
Yeah, like I don't think there's anything. I don't think anyone's been that hyped up. I mean, LeBron obviously,
Since LeBron,
in the history of the league, like it's just LeBron and Zion.
Yeah.
Like there's like I've never seen anything like that. Like the Ball brothers weren't like that. It was different.
It was
crazy.
He was everywhere when he was at Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I know.
anytime you turn on SportsCenter, it's a Zion dunk, it's a Zion this, a Zion that, and like he was the number 2 overall recruit. They had the number 1 overall recruit on their team, and they did not talk about him nearly as much as Zion.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember I used to just run his high school highlights and just watch him because it's so stupid.
I know.
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
I could watch the same dunk like 10 times.
Do you think he's gotten any better since high school?
I mean, I haven't watched him play in a while.
Exactly.
So college, I feel like he became a lot better basketball player in terms of shooting.
Yeah, more well-rounded.
He was able to shoot in college. Like he wasn't one dimensional.
I mean, his first game in the NBA, he had like 6 threes.
Exactly. So like that's what kind of cued me in. Like, okay, this guy can play basketball as well as jump and stuff. But since he joined the NBA, I don't think he's improved. I actually think he got worse.
Yeah,
since the start of his career.
I can see that.
I don't think if, like what you said, if this happens and he retires early, I don't think he'll be he'll be a bust, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would put him more in the like what if category, because it's like what if he stayed healthy. I think still the biggest bust of all time is Anthony Bennett. I mean, the guy literally does not know how to play basketball. He was the worst pick ever. So I think
Cavs made a good pick on that.
Oh yeah, they could have had an insane team, but I think he'll be the worst because he was fully healthy, played and averaged like 2 points a game. But Zion, when he plays, like last year, he played 61 games. He averaged 27 a game.
Yeah, I mean,
So
when he's there,
he's there. But he'll just be like one of the. If that happens, so just be like, I mean, what if he was healthy? What if he didn't have all this stuff going on? What if he wasn't 200 and 300 pounds? Like, like what it would just be more of. I mean, obviously he'll still be a bust. It'll kind of like how Greg Oden is. Like Greg Oden, like everyone's like, what if he didn't get hurt? Then he would have been this great center potentially. But he's still considered one of the biggest busts in NBA history. Yeah. But it'll be just more like it's more of those ones where it's like an unfortunate bust.
Yeah, like kind of like a D Rose. But like,
I was gonna say
D
Rose.
D Rose was he won an MVP.
Yeah,
youngest ever.
Yeah, but it won't be one of those guys where like they draft them, then they play, and they're just awful.
Yeah,
and
again,
they're gone.
it'll be. You're right about that.
It'll be just like
a way of putting that.
It'll just be like it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see the full potential that Zion could have gotten to. It would be one of those things. Yeah, but I would still, and I'm sure if this happens and you look at like top 10 busts, he would be like probably 2 or 3.
Well, honestly, if you were to look at like the top 10, like biggest busts in NBA history, like all those guys, they didn't come in with the hype Zion had.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, that
Zion.
does hurt his case.
But like honestly, it's incredible that for like the little bit that he played, like he didn't play. Didn't he get hurt rookie year?
Yeah, he didn't. He only played 24 games, and it was towards the end of the season.
So when he did, though, I mean, he did not really let the hype down. Like he was going crazy.
He was one of the better. He was one of the best players on the court when he played.
So it's like it was pretty impressive that he could hold that up. Mm-hmm. So maybe if he can get back to whatever, like if he can get back to being healthy and get back to that, then he's got to like he can recover and like still be a really good player. But it's just like he had it going, and he didn't even like as far as hype goes, like he didn't really drop the hype on him. But it's just the injuries.
One thing that so this player didn't deal with much injuries, but he was Andrew Wiggins coming out of college and high school was I saw multiple reports of people saying he's the next Kobe Bryant, which is basically at the same level of saying you're the next LeBron. Yeah. And obviously he was the first overall pick, got traded to Timberwolves for Kevin Love, all that stuff. And he, until really this season, hasn't done anything in his career at all, really. And I think that, that could also potentially be something that happens with Zion, but with injuries. Like, if he gets healthy, he becomes like a 13 or like 15 to 17 point per game scorer, which is still really good. And then
it's like an average.
Yeah, then he plays out his contracts with New Orleans, and then they either trade him if he gets a stint of him being healthy, or they just let him go, and then he can go into a different team that maybe is more well structured, and maybe he'll find a second groove in there, which I think could be a possibility too. Mm-hmm. His career trajectory could go in a billion different ways.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it definitely will be. But one thing that I have kind of been thinking of is you alluded to that Zion was the second overall guy in that draft, or the second ranked recruit, and then RJ was 1, and then Cam Reddish was in the top 10. And obviously all those three were pretty dominant in college. Mm-hmm. And now they're on the NBA. And me personally, I think that team is one of the biggest disappointments in like college basketball like history. They had 3 top 10 recruits. You have Zion, who has barely played. RJ, who at his best is like an okay to good player. And then Cam Reddish has been traded twice. Or he's been traded once, but he's barely played, and he's been very underwhelming. And we thought all three, like, there were comps to LeBron, Paul George, and like the next Canadian great. Like, everyone projected these guys to be so good, and none of them have gone anywhere close to that. So me personally, I think that Duke team is one of the most disappointing college teams that like their players went to the NBA.
You have 3 top 10 recruits, top 5 recruits. I think they were 1, 2, 3 actually.
I think you're right.
And you have, the odds are like at least one of those is going to be an NBA star. All 3 of them.
Yeah, all three of them
have been mid. Yeah. Zion was good when he played, but he's only played like 60 games his whole career.
Yeah, so that cancels it out.
RJ's been, he's shown like games where he scored 40, and then he shows games where he scores like 10 and goes like 2 for 13.
Yeah.
And then you got Cam Reddish, who
hasn't played.
I don't think he's gotten the opportunity he deserves.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten the opportunity.
The Knicks are not it either, so he's got to go somewhere else, which could ruin his career by the time he gets out of there, which I really hope they don't.
Yeah.
It's hard to play behind Trae Young and like John Collins in Atlanta. So like they had a bunch of young core there where he couldn't really play too much. Mm-hmm. And Tom Thibodeau does not know what he's doing in New York. Yeah.
Dumpster fire over there.
Yeah, that is just a whole nother conversation.
It's rough.
But so if he could find a team to where he could become one of like, if he went to like the Rockets aren't good either.
I think he should. I wanted to see him go to the Thunder. Because they're just completely rebuilding, and they could just give him the keys. To kind of
I think that would be a perfect fit for him, to where they haven't been good, like they've been okay, and
they're not trying to be good either.
Exactly, so he can go out there, and if he becomes a superstar, then like, oh my gosh, like we just got a superstar. Mm-hmm. And it's not like the Thunder don't have picks to trade for him. So I'm out the Thunder. I'm trying to get him, seeing if we can get anything out of him.
Yeah, I might be too harsh on them, and maybe too quick, because they've only been in the league for 3 years. But as of now, I think that I think what I said. But obviously, they all still have potential to be all-star players or really solid starters in the NBA. So you can't count them out yet. But I just think that they had so much hype surrounding all of them, and their comps were so high, and none of them have even gotten close to any of that.
Yeah.
So speaking of, I guess that my last take was a hot take. So the All-Star Game, midway point. I just want to get your guys' mid-season hot takes. So, would you like me to start, or do you want to start? Okay, I'll start. I think this one is going to get you guys going a little bit, just knowing you two. So my mid-season hot take is this season has tarnished 2 players' legacies, LeBron James and James Harden. LeBron James, I believe, has too much influence in the Lakers organization. In the offseason, the Lakers, they made a trade to acquire Buddy Hield from the Kings. And instead of that going through, LeBron and AD said they wanted to trade for Russell Westbrook, and Rob Pelinka was forced to make that trade to make LeBron happy, even though he went out later and said that he really wanted Hield on the team. And so now, because of that, of Westbrook's like $48 something million contract, they had zero cap space, so they had to sign these like washed players like Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, etc. And they only had room to keep like 3 or 4 guys on their current roster, and they lost like Caruso and obviously they traded Kuzma and Harrell and KCP, so key guys for them. And then obviously the Lakers have been very disappointing this season. Westbrook struggled, and the team has struggled. And before the deadline, LeBron was doing all he could to get Westbrook out of Los Angeles. He was trying to trade for John Wall. He was just trying to do anything he could to ship Westbrook out. The guy he just advocated to get on the team, and probably in like 40 or 50 games, he was pushing him out the door.
Yeah.
And then once the All-Star came out, he was alluding to, he's like, I'm open to coming back to Cleveland potentially. The door's not closed. He goes, I really love what Sam Presti's doing with draft picks. Kind of slightly bashing the Lakers, which was the team he built. I mean, They call him Le GM for a reason. He built that team up, and he obviously it hasn't worked out. So he's kind of retorting on his moves that he made. But I think the biggest thing, or one of the bigger things for me, is him saying that he's going to play. He wants to play with Bronny, which I'm totally fine with. But he said that like whoever drafts Bronny, I'm going to go to that team, which I think. Basically, him saying that automatically gets Bronny drafted. He could be terrible, and people will still draft him just to get one.
With the first pick.
Exactly, just to get him one pick with the draft, which I don't think. I mean, I'm all for him playing with his son. I think that'd be really cool. But I don't know. Just the way he did that.
Shouldn't be able to mess with the draft.
Yeah, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah. But because of all of this, the media has shined a bad light on LeBron this season, and in my opinion, I feel like this season has hurt his legacy more than helped it. Now, on the James Harden side of things. As we know, James Harden has been on 3 teams in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and he's like requested for trades every time.
I don't have a problem with him as a player. I think he's a great player, but I have a problem with how he's handled these situations, like you said, requesting trades. So on the Rockets, he openly came out and said that he no longer wanted to be with the team, and that the roster had basically had no chance to win, so he requested the trade. And then he sat out most of the games, and videos surfaced of him warming up, looking overweight and out of shape, which were odd. And then he got what he wanted. He got traded to Brooklyn, created he created the greatest offensive big three that we've ever seen with him, Kyrie, and KD. Yeah. And then once he got to Brooklyn, he was magically in shape, looked fine, played well, and then they obviously made it to the playoffs and lost. Mm-hmm. And so then not even a full season after he was with Brooklyn, he sits out more games, asks for another trade, because Kyrie's not playing half the games, and he again says this team's not a championship team. And then again videos resurfaced of him being overweight and him, quote-unquote, wearing a fat suit.
Yeah.
And then he ultimately got his wish again. He was just recently traded to the 76ers in the deadline, and we're seeing the same thing. These few games he's played, he's looked phenomenal. Him and Joel Embiid have had great chemistry, and they look like the best duo in the league.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, I don't have a problem with him as a player. I just think the way that his actions these past couple of years have shown to me that Harden is a quitter and will do anything he can to get what he wants.
I agree. But the difference between the Nets, Rockets, and Sixers is very big, and let me tell you why. When he was on the Rockets, he had Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook and different, like obviously they didn't play all 3 together. And that was a two guards. And then he goes to the Nets, and it was him and Kyrie, 2 guards, and then KD. I don't know what you'd call him. I wouldn't call him a big man. I'd call him like more like a power forward shooting guard type guy. But now he's on the Sixers, and he's playing at a position where he's never had a dominant player at, which is center. And I think that is the perfect player that he needs to play with, because his play style is, I'm going to shoot a lot, but I also pass, and like he distributes the ball very well. And if you have a dominant big man to get your misses, but also to distribute to and to spread you out, I think that's why the Philly has found so much success very early on. Like, they didn't even need days to get chemistry, because they just automatic. Like, I mean, and Joel Embiid even said this is the most open I've ever been. And I think that's why the Sixers have found so much chemistry and success with these two, because I think that James Harden's play type fits perfectly with the center. Because, I mean, if you compare the point guard, you don't know who's going to get the ball, like him and Kyrie or him and Chris Paul or him and Russell Westbrook. Like, you have to distribute the ball evenly. But now it's him being the point guard. He is the guy at point guard. Like, he is, like, So he gets the ball whenever he wants to, and he can do whatever he wants with it. And he's a great decision maker. I mean, he averages like 20-something points and like 10 assists. I mean, he's having games where he's having like 27 points and like 15 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Joel Embiid, I'm like, let's go. Like, this is the type of guy I want to play with. So I think that fit is completely different than any other fit he has, and that is why they're gonna have so much success. And I think they can ride that very far, very far.
Yeah, I agree basically with everything you just said. I think that, like you said, Harden being with Joel Embiid, he's never had a player of Embiid's caliber at that position, and it lets him just open the floor completely and kind of do his own thing. And they can both work off of each other, and they've shown that they're really good at doing that. And I think Philly is the perfect situation for him. I think he'll strive in Philly. Yeah. But like I said, I don't have a problem with how he's playing. I don't have a problem with him as a player. I just don't think that
the way he's handled
I just don't think he dealt with the situations well.
No, I definitely agree with that. He did not handle any situation well.
Yeah. But I don't care that he's played for 3 teams in 2 years, all that stuff. I just don't think he should have. Yeah, the way he handled it was bad.
Yeah. Do you want to do your next hot take? Do you want to be the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Ja. A lot of people are comparing Ja right now to prime D Rose, like his MVP year. I don't think he's quite to the MVP year yet, but he reminds me a lot of D Rose, and I think honestly, if he keeps it up and he keeps progressing, he could have a D Rose MVP season next year, because it's just like, if you look at the stats, John Morant is for the age of 22 is the fifth. I think it was since 1975 the fifth all-time average scorer since then out of anybody. So like he's over LeBron, he's over all these guys, he's over Rose. So it's just like, you really got to think, like, we're actually witnessing a player here that's like making. So like I don't know about you guys, but I don't see Ja as like someone who makes all-time lists right now. I'm just seeing him as a good player.
He has not had enough years yet.
Right, but it's just crazy that he's like joining. He has all-time stats.
Yeah, I mean, some of the players in the stats are,
Right, and he's one of the funnest players to watch. We all know that. And
I mean,
Rose shared the same thing.
Oh, exactly. They are very much alike. But let me give you a little statistic about them. John Morant already has over double the amount of 40-point games as Derrick Rose. So I think that John Morant is at the MVP level Derrick Rose was.
Right now.
But I think that year Derrick Rose there wasn't as many MVP candidates, so that's why he got it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Derrick Rose, if he's playing, I mean, basically Derrick Rose is John Morant now. Like, they're having the exact same season. Right. So I don't think Derrick Rose would win the MVP this year. So I think that's why Ja won't. Because no one expected this out of him. So I bet next year, like you said, will be his year.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna have to disagree and say he's already better than Rose.
I mean, I can agree with that. I'm just saying, I was saying that they were close, but I can also get behind who's there.
Yeah. I mean,
just either way, I think he's going to really, if he keeps it up, he's going to pop off next year and honestly be top 3 MVP.
Agreed, yeah. I mean, he has the potential to be, and he's showing it now.
Yeah.
If he does what he's doing right now all season next year, there's no way he should not win MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making crazy shots, crazy dunks, crazy. I mean, he's like must-watch TV. Like every night you're seeing something crazy he does.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he just had a 52-point game, which was the most points ever scored by Grizzlies in their entire franchise history.
And the shot he made at that halftime with
that
a
was
full
ridiculous.
court pass, jumped up and threw it up and went in, had a posterizing dunk. I mean,
he's
to go
shot
along
from
with
half.
the 52-point exact shot from half, To go along with 52 points, he's putting up highlight reel plays, too. I think, like, not bashing Jokic, but when he has his, like, 38, 13, and 10 games, he does nothing flashy. He's just layup. A nice pass. Like, there's nothing flashy about his game. Now, he's a great player, nothing bad, but like, I'd much rather watch Ja than
he's not as exciting as Ja.
Right. Yeah, like the best thing Jokic will do is nice no look pass. You know what I mean? Nice. Which they're fun to watch. You know, they'll get you, but like, if you're watch a no look pass or like a posterizing dunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you said, those no look passes, they'll make the highlight reel, but there's a highlight reel of John Morant for this like past week.
Yeah,
just
exactly. There's like literally a season mixtape of just this week.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah. I think that's a great take.
I think he's the most exciting player in the league.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Edwards is up there, or at least was when he. I mean, I haven't seen an Edwards poster in a second, but
when Edwards was early in the season,
it was like every single day.
Yeah, he was.
So I would say those two are kind of on a level. world they're on of excitement right now. But that also has to do because they're young. So like,
Yeah.
you don't get excited for an old guy because you're like even if LeBron dunks on somebody, it's like.
Yeah, we've seen that 100 times.
Yeah. But like younger guys, you're like,
But like,
oh my god,
Jaws
he's
are
doing
like,
this now.
Yeah,
Jaws making blocks that are like crazy.
Yeah.
You know
that
what I mean?
that one block, I think it was against the Lakers.
Yeah,
Where
the
he
two-handed one.
two-handed, basically off the very top of the backboard. That's gonna be like an all-time play.
Oh, exactly. He's making all-time plays.
And what was it? Was it last year or was rookie year or one of those 2 years? He was literally jumping over people.
He literally jumped over Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
he would have made that
was-
dunk, would have been the greatest dunk of all time. in my
Exactly.
opinion.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, yeah. He's just like, it's like you just get so excited talking about
I
it
know.
because like he makes plays that are just like, oh my gosh, you just want to talk about it.
I
You know
know.
what I mean?
And I think it's also nice that he's in a small market in Memphis and he's bringing them into the light, and they have
Exactly.
a really good team.
Exactly.
Around
Like he's not only making these highlight plays. Like there have been players that have like highlight play. They lost by 30, but he made a sweet play. You know what I mean?
Right.
He is not only making highlight plays, setting franchise records, making incredible blocks. He took the Grizzlies from a terrible franchise to a top. What are they? Like,
They're third in they're
third
third in the West right
third
now.
in the West.
Right.
Like the West is unreal.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
and they are third in the West because of Ja.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like, and there's no other like superstar he's playing with. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't
exactly.
have like the
No.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or the LeBron AD, or the Curry Clay. I mean, they don't have the Kyrie KD. I mean, it is just Ja and a bunch of dudes, and
Yeah.
like he just makes them better.
Yeah.
And like he's getting like,
You have to think what he could do with another superstar. To
Yeah.
believe.
oh yeah,
And they're just a really fun team to watch because of Ja and other stuff.
yeah, it's got a bunch of young dudes who just love to play together. Like, and they're the team chemistry is great. Like they've got something building over there.
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that.
And to your take, I just looked up like the stat comparison between D Rose's MVP season, which when he was 22, and then Ja this year at 22. Ja has 24.7 points. Derrick Rose at 25. Ja has 6.7 assists, and then D Rose had 7.7 assists. Rebounds, Ja has 5.1, and then D Rose had 4.1, and then steals, Ja has a little bit over him, and they're basically shooting the same from the field, 3-point and free throw percentage. So he's having an identical season to a guy that just won the MVP. But like you said, I believe if Joel Embiid and DeMar DeRozan weren't having as good a season as they are now, Ja Morant's the front runner.
I mean, the only person that Derrick Rose was another MVP player was LeBron, who's been there every single year.
Who should have probably won.
LeBron should have won it,
Yeah.
but everybody's like, we want something new. LeBron's missed so many MVPs because of that. That's another topic, though.
Yeah.
But like, that's why D Rose got
he
it.
was
So
the
I think if you
excitement
put
player.
Ja back then, he's automatically an MVP
Yeah.
because there's not as many exciting players back then as there was now.
Right. Well, he's the exciting player of that era. So it was like back then you had D Rose as the excitement guy, right? But then LeBron, even though he was young at that point, like younger at least, he had already been so dominant that people were already
It's
bored
just-
of giving
yeah.
it to him.
Voter
It's just-
fatigue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not fair to LeBron, but
Yeah.
like you said, I would, like, even though I'm a LeBron fan, I would rather see Derrick Rose get one because, like, he just turned around the Bulls, just like Ja's doing, turn around the trash franchise. It's getting them in the finals. The
had
only
to-
thing I gotta say about that is, even that Derrick Rose MVP season, he still couldn't meet LeBron. That's
Yeah. It had to be a factor too. The fact that if they voted him MVP, it was history, like the youngest.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was
So,
part of
like,
it too. Like, oh, he's
yeah.
the youngest MVP.
Like,
yeah.
let's make history. Let's vote
Yeah.
for this. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. There's definitely were reasons why they did that, but no discredit to Derrick Rose. He was having
Yeah.
an insane year. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Ja recently just came out, he was asked the same question that we're talking about right now, and he said, "I definitely see the comparisons, but D Rose is one of a kind and one special player, and you can see the similarities, sure, but there will never be another Derrick Rose. I'm just trying to be my own player and do what I can on the floor and help my team win basketball games and continue to get better." That's the right answer.
Yeah,
that's what
I
he's
mean,
supposed to
he's
say.
not gonna say I am D
No,
Rose.
that's what he's supposed
yeah.
to say.
Yeah, he's
but
being humble.
Yeah,
I think that because of how good Ja is, I don't think he's going to win the MVP, but I think he's my MVP frontrunner for next year.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah,
keeps
for
this
sure.
up, that was my second hot take, was that he was going to win MVP next year.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing so good that they're going to have to give him some type of award. I think he's locked most improved. I think they're giving him most improved because he's
for
had such a good season.
Yeah.
I think he's so good, you have to give him something.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I think he'll get. I think he'll get most improved, and then if he continues to do what he's doing now, I think MVPs in the next 1 or 2 years, and I think that's just going to continue. I mean, but the NBA is. I think if Jokic wins this year, I think he's probably done because voter fatigue is such a big thing. Because like Giannis won 2, and then Jokic. So if Jokic wins again, and then I think Jaw's right there. I mean,
Yeah.
but like you guys said that this year, there's just too many. There's just a lot of people that have been playing better, but Ja has just been in the spotlight more because he's more exciting.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, are we ready for my hot take now?
I think we are.
I think we've saved the hottest for last.
Oh.
Yeah,
I thought mine was pretty hot.
It is pretty hot, but this is pretty hot. I think the Nets will win the NBA championship this year.
I think you need to drink some of your water.
No. Listen. This is why. I'm big on Ben Simmons, and I think the way he plays is, again, like James Harden in Philly, is a perfect fit because he is a defensive stopper, and that's one of the problems right now. The Nets, they give up too many points. Another thing he adds to the table is he's a great distributor. He gets downhill, and all he has to do is kick out to Kyrie, kick out to KD, kick out to Seth Curry, kick out. I mean, he has so many shooters on his team to where he can. I mean, he's so big. I just think that the way he plays and the way his play style is perfect for the Nets. And I think that if they can get them all healthy, which I don't know what's going on with him, but if Ben Simmons can get healthy, and if Kyrie can play every game, and if KD can get healthy, and they get 10 to 15 games in the regular season together, and then go into the playoffs with this team, I think that is a scary team to play in a team I would not want to play. And I think that they would. I think they have a chance to win the finals.
The way I look at it, I think it'd be easy. Like, okay, it's not gonna be easy to stop Kyrie and KD, but I think you could put Ben Simmons on pretty easy. Just
because
listen,
not much fun.
if you put a center in the paint, right, you can literally take Ben Simmons' man and just go double one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you look back at Ben Simmons when he had a fan base that believed in him and had his confidence high. He's making mid-range shots like it's nothing contested, and like fadeaway mid-range shots.
He can shoot, he just doesn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So if he can get that confidence, which he had, I mean, who are you gonna put on KD? Are you gonna put the best defender on KD? Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna put your second best on Kyrie, which is obvious.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to put a smaller guy on Ben Simmons because you can't guard a center plus KD and Ben Simmons.
Isn't Ben playing center?
He will probably he'll probably play 1 through 5, honestly,
because he's so big.
Yeah.
So you can't put a guard on him because he's too big and will drive by him. You can't put a center on him because he's too fast and will drive by him.
Yeah.
And then if you put like your best defender on him, just give the ball to KD every time. And if you put your best defender on, if your two best on him, just give it to Kyrie.
If he could shoot, he would really be like a young baby Giannis.
Oh yeah, he'd be a much better player if he can shoot. I agree with most of the stuff that you're saying. I think that the Ben Simmons trade, I think it was a win for both teams. I think the Nets.
I think the Nets will not trade.
Yeah, they got exactly what they needed, a big man, and it's exactly what Ben Simmons needed. He doesn't have to score. He can just pass, rebound, play defense, and he's good at all three of those things.
How he wants to.
And then they got Seth Curry, who's a great shooter.
They got picks.
But here's my only issue. Like you said, Ben Simmons is currently hasn't played yet, and we don't know when he's going to play. And there's only 20 games left in the season. So, like, let's say he comes back in 10 games. He has 10 games before the playoffs, which is the most important stretch. And obviously, the health of KD, and if Kyrie's going to be able to play, which I think that they're uplifting the vaccine soon.
Yeah.
But the Nets played the Heat yesterday. I'm pretty sure with Kyrie, maybe not Kyrie. I think it was KD was back. I know that for sure. And they played the Heat without Jimmy Butler, without Tyler Hero, and without PJ Tucker, and they lost. So I think the Nets can be stopped, but I think it all depends on their health.
If they don't win the championship this year, they will win it next year.
I can see that. It just depends if they're all healthy, and I just think. If they're not and Ben Simmons comes late, there's obviously going to be some chemistry hiccups, I would think. But
he's practicing with them right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that the Nets are as deep as some of the other teams. They have the best star players for sure.
Yeah,
but they're not as deep as some other teams.
I think they're starting to get deep.
Yeah.
Their first problem was trading away Jared Allen and LeVert and all that. And they should have kept them.
As a Cavs fan, thank you very much.
Yes. That was their first problem. You can't go back on that now. Mm-hmm. But that's why they're not as deep now. But, yes, I agree. They're not as deep right now, but getting Seth Curry was huge. I mean, Yeah, they had Joe Harris this year. They're playing a lot better.
Joe Harris is out for the season.
Yeah, what type of ankle injury requires a surgery and then it becomes so bad you need another one?
Scions.
Okay, yeah, I guess that is, yeah. But like, I don't know. But I mean, I'm saying that they have, and they got Drummond, which is another.
I did
guy.
like that pick.
So I think that next year they could be. I mean, even this year.
I think, yeah, if they make it out of the East,
But Grant,
I'm
we've
not.
been saying the Nets have been going to be winning every year for like the last 3 years.
Yeah, if they make it out of the East, I'm not surprised. But I mean, I can honestly see the Heat and the Bucks and the Sixers taking them down, which I can see. I mean, the East is so competitive this year. Like anybody can lose, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
honestly, the whole league's really competitive. I mean, okay, there's a couple teams that aren't, but
Yeah,
like,
but this is
but-
this is like the most competitive that it's really been.
like we're saying, the West is crazy, the East is competitive. It's like
It's usually like, oh, LeBron was the East, and then the West was so good.
Yeah.
But now it's like the East and West are both very good. And who would have thought LeBron would be a 9 seed right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
We'll get into that in a second
it's
about
crazy.
how bad they've been playing. But and then you have teams like Cleveland and Chicago and like
oh yeah, like
nobody thought and like Toronto's the 7th seed.
that's crazy. Like,
They're
you don't
higher.
hear
They're
about
higher than the Nets.
it. I know. You just don't hear about that.
Yeah, and then if you look in the West, like we talked about, the Grizzlies are number 3 right now. The Timberwolves are 7. They're over the Clippers and the Lakers. Coming into the season, we would never say that.
Oh no, that's
but
crazy.
I think what's kind of funny is the Clippers. They haven't played with Kawhi or Paul George, and they have a better record than the Lakers and the Nets, which I think is
I
kind
don't
of
even
crazy.
understand that.
I don't.
I think that's credit to Ty Lue because he's just a great coach.
Yeah.
I don't really know if he's that great of a coach, but that's another.
I think he showed that last year that he's a pretty dang good coach.
I don't know. I guess he's starting to prove it now. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I don't think your take is bad. I mean, I think that the Nets. I mean, they're probably favorites.
It's not
still.
outrageous.
No,
but it's yeah.
it's one of those where we could look back on it once the playoff starts and you were right.
Next,
and then
dude,
we'll look
this
back
year or
and we'll
next
go,
year, you're gonna blow up because these people are gonna be like, wow, this guy knew the Nets were gonna be good with Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
It could happen.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Anything can happen. But no, I think the Nets are obviously favorites, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So Lucas touched on the Lakers a little bit, and I touched on it earlier. The Lakers suck. Let's just get that out of the way. They're bad. They're awful. I watched them play the Clippers yesterday, and I had to turn it off. It was just that bad.
Yeah, it's such bad
It
basketball.
was
You have
terrible.
to turn it off.
It was bad. And I mean, ESPN, I know you love the Lakers and they make you a lot of money, but stop playing them on national television. Can I watch the Grizzlies play, please?
For real.
I haven't watched the Grizzlies game all year. Can I watch them play, please?
Literally.
But yeah, so do you I think I already know your guys' answer to this, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. Do you think that they have a shot to make the playoffs? They are currently the ninth seed. So technically, if the season ended today, they're in the play-in. So do you think they still have a chance to make the playoffs, or are they doomed?
Like,
Yeah.
if it were me, like, you got a 50% chance of them continuing the path they're on and straight out of the playoffs. But then you got a 50% chance of them getting their crap together.
Yeah.
And then they make it to, like...
If they get their crap together, it's scary.
Right, it's like they might get up to, like, the 6 or the 5 or something like that. But I just don't... I don't know, because it can go either way. So there's, like, I don't think there's really any way to predict that.
Yeah.
Because it's a team, like, there's in it, like, an unbelievable amount of potential, but just no one is executing the potential.
Yeah, exactly. So like, my thing is, you have LeBron, and you have AD. If AD, you just need to start a doctor on the starting lineup to have AD to stay healthy. But like, if he's healthy, him and LeBron have great chemistry. And then you have Carmelo come off the bench, great scorer, can get you buckets while they're out. And then you have TH2, who's a young stud who can score for you. I just think they're missing. It's just Russell Westbrook, and I hate to put it on. Like, you look at his numbers, 18, 7, and 8. That's a great season for most people. And like, even it's an off year for him, but it's still a great season. He's not doing bad. But like, if you watch the game, the plays that he is making they're just the wrong plays. Like, it's just not the Russell Westbrook we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing him like dribble in, jump high, make sweet passes, or dunk on somebody. This year, he's like dribbling in, dribbling back out. Like, he acts like he's scared. And then LeBron tries to force everything and just turn the ball over. And they go times where they just don't get back on defense. Go down, turn it over. Don't get back on defense. Go down, turn it over.
Yeah,
turn it over, go back down, and then throw up a brick three, and then all of a sudden it's a 12-point run.
You remember that video where LeBron literally was down the court and shot a corner three, and nobody came back on offense?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Everybody stayed on defense and just shot a three.
Yeah, they don't play defense at all.
And I like having Malik Monk on the team.
He's been one of their few bright spots.
Kendrick Nunn, if he could ever play in the NBA, it'd be nice.
Has he played
No, he's been out all year. I don't know what that's been all about. But like, if they're completely healthy, they're a good team that could maybe win a series or two and maybe make it to the conference finals if LeBron is like playing like LeBron could.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be so hard for them because they have just dug themselves. I mean, they look like a pitiful basketball team. Like, I think they would lose a 3-game series to the Rockets right now. Like, it's not even, like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, it's just terrible.
Yeah, they're really bad.
I mean, they'll go on runs, we're like, wow, they look good. And they'll go on a run like, wow, they are maybe the worst basketball team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's bad. It's so bad.
And that's why you can't really predict it. So I just feel like, I imagine we're in agreement that you can't really predict it. They're sucking now. They could do better. I mean, they could do better and they'll make the playoffs. If they do better, they're going to make the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
I know that sounds dumb, but like if they get their stuff together, they're going to make the playoffs. If they don't, it's not looking good because they've been going down for so long.
And it's not like LeBron is like he was a couple years ago where he could carry a team all the way to the conference finals.
37.
He's getting older now, and he's still putting up great numbers. Don't get me wrong.
Isn't he averaging like 30?
Yeah, he's averaging more points than he ever has. But it's the assists, the playmaking that he causes, he's just not there anymore like he was a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And so he needs that. Like, I heard, I think it was like Charles Barkley said on TNT, he said, we all predicted that the Lakers would be insane this year if Anthony Davis was their number one player.
Yeah.
LeBron had to be there too. And AD hasn't even been on the court. Yeah. So, you can't even... So, and LeBron just can't carry the team this year. I mean, it's not, his fault. He's putting up numbers still. It's just not like he was when he took that one Cavs team to the finals his second year that was, literally had nobody you know besides Zydrunas Ilgauskas. You know what I mean? If they had that LeBron now, they're probably... I don't know, the 6 or 7 seed, and they're going to make the playoffs, and they'd win a series or two maybe, but they don't have that LeBron, and he's old, so it's
only do so much.
Yeah, I agree.
The Lakers are only favored in 3 games for the rest of the season, and there's 20 games left, and they're only favored in 3 of them, so that doesn't help their case. But I'm a believer in LeBron, so I think if you have LeBron on your team, you can win games.
Yeah, you have a chance no matter what.
Realistically, I think they'll make the play-in. I think they'll do just enough to be the 7th, 8th, or 9th, or 10th seed.
Yeah, and I think they'll win their play-in game they did last year.
And then I think they'll win their play-in game, and then they'll go in the first round, and then
play the Suns again,
and then they'll get swept. Then they'll get swept.
I think
I don't think that team's close to beating the Suns. LeBron could average 40, and I don't think they're beating the Suns.
LeBron could literally score 50 points a game.
I think playoff
and the rest
LeBron
of the team
will
will score 20.
I would
playoff
hope
LeBron will show up, and it won't
I think
be
so.
enough.
Yeah, I like that.
It just won't be enough. Yeah,
but the Lakers team is just so bad around him.
So bad.
Their 2 best players, because AD hasn't been there, has been Malik Monk and Austin Reeves.
Who in the world's Austin? You know that when he's starting on our team, it's bad.
He is a rookie from Oklahoma.
Which he's not bad. I'm not saying he's
good.
a bad player. He will be good, but when you're starting a rookie out of Oklahoma that wasn't a superstar,
that should be
on a team that should be in the finals, that's when you know the team is just not going the right direction.
Yeah.
And they expected a lot more out of Russell Westbrook, and like you said, LeBron. I think you're right. He is a little too much involved. He has made great moves before.
Yeah. Oh, he has made some really good moves before.
But now he made a bad move, and he can start on the GM now. You know what I mean?
That's what he did. He said, I don't have anything to do with this. This is all the GM.
Exactly.
But we all know.
We all know that he did have something to do with this. He got Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook, and that's who he said he wanted.
Those are 2 who's good for him.
And if I'm LeBron, if I look back now, I would want that Buddy Hield. I would want those role players to play with now. Right. You know what I mean? Because so you could have a bench, so you didn't have to start a rookie. Imagine if Austin Reeves came off the bench this year. It'd be way better. Mm-hmm. Except that means that they have dudes starting that can contribute more.
Yeah, they would be a lot better.
Yeah, so that's what I say about that.
So, obviously, we all know that this Lakers team isn't very good. So what do you guys think that they can do to fix the current like what they're currently?
I think
doing?
obviously is Russell Westbrook. You're gonna have to get him gone. And then what do you have to say about Davis?
He needs to just play basketball. He needs to come back and play.
Do you think they should keep him?
Yeah. I think they should keep him because, I mean, they just won a championship, not even that long ago.
I guess,
2 years ago, right? Ago. So it's like, if LeBron and AD can win a championship for you under never-before-seen circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly believe that if the Lakers can get their crap together and you can get LeBron and AD back on the floor with LeBron's playmaking ability and AD just scoring, and you can keep that man healthy, then I think that's an easy second, third round playoff run. You might not win the finals, but I think it's a lot better than trading AD and going young, because if you go young, then you just have a really old LeBron with a bunch of guys that don't really know what they're doing yet. So I mean, whenever you have LeBron, you need to be in the mindset, all right, now's our time to go get the ring.
Exactly. And
not rebuild.
I think if they do trade Russell Westbrook, I'm not looking for one superstar in return. I'm looking for 3 or 4 guys who are good, that can play role minutes to go along with LeBron and AD. That's what I'm doing if I'm trading for Russell Westbrook. Because you saw this year that 3 stars just didn't work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But 2 stars with LeBron and AD and a bunch of role players, I think is perfect. Because if you have a great starting lineup and you have Melo, THT, and Austin Reeves coming off the bench, it's great. I mean, that is exactly what you want. You can get their rest, and then you can keep in the game with them.
Yeah.
Because that means obviously you're starting Malik Monk with them, and maybe if you pick up I don't even know who, maybe a Jay Crowder or just someone like that can just go in and put up quality minutes. The Clippers made a great move in getting Nicholas Batum. You know what I mean? That's the type of player the Lakers need, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to trade Westbrook. But I don't know if they really can, because he has a $44 million contract next year.
How many years is left on his contract?
So this year, and then he has a player option. And
so he can leave next year if he really wants to?
If he wants to decline $44 million, which he won't. So he'll probably come. Some team might want him, but he'll probably come back. But I was watching a YouTube video, and this dude was talking about if the Lakers should rebuild. And he said, so if Russ declines his $45 million cap option, or $45 million option, he said this is what he envisions the 2023 Lakers to look like. And I just want to get your guys' opinion on this team. Tyus Jones at point guard, Malik Monk at shooting guard, Anthony Davis at small forward, LeBron James at small forward, Anthony Davis at power forward, and then JaVale McGee at center, with a bench of T.J. Warren, Robert Covington, Jeremy Lamb, Jeff Green, and then obviously THT, Austin Reeves. I think LeBron could take that team to the finals.
I think they can win a championship with that team.
Yeah.
I love that team.
That's dream case scenario. Westbrook's just declines $44 million, which there's no chance.
I don't know. He might do that.
It's $44 million.
But he also is getting humiliated right now.
True.
So do you guys think there's no chance that they should trade AD or LeBron?
I don't think so. Shaq literally just said if they trade LeBron, they're not winning again.
Yeah, which I agree with. But they might. I don't know. I feel like their future is screwed. They have no picks. They have 2 picks of their own, 2026 and 2027. And
my gosh.
Then they have swaps with the Pelicans 2023 and 2024. All the other ones are not theirs. And then, I'm assuming they'll get off of Russ's contract in at least one more season or this offseason. And then they'll have AD still, and LeBron's contract up, I think, is in 2 years. And I'm assuming if they don't, he said he wants to stay in LA, but I'm assuming, and in the next 2 years, if they are still bad, I think
they're not drafting Bronny.
Yeah, like we said, whoever gets Bronny, he's going to. So then you'll be stuck with AD.
So that's something that you have to.
You'll be stuck with AD. No, if
AD's gone after LeBron leaves, AD's going to request for a trade.
Well, here's what I would say.
AD's going to Chicago.
So the whole point of rebuilding, which I'm assuming if they were to get rid of LeBron or AD, they're going to slowly start getting younger talent.
Yeah.
So the whole point of rebuilding is to eventually get you to a spot where you have 3 years to go get yourself a ring or something like that. You just try. I would say if you traded AD and LeBron right now, I feel like that would just defeat the entire purpose because these are your years to like try to go get the ring. Mm-hmm. So I would give yourself this year and next year because Bronny wouldn't even be drafted until
I think so. He's a junior now.
So the seniors next year they have to go to college for 3 years.
1 year, so 3 years.
Okay.
LeBron will be 40.
So I would go this year, next year, and I guess one more just because.
Yeah, he'll probably get like a 1 year contract or something.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would give yourself 3 years, and then the second LeBron leaves your roster, you trade all your old players.
Yeah,
for picks and for picks and even just like a little worse younger guys. You have to look at it like this. They had a big run, right? Like the Lakers have been good. Yeah. So the bigger run you have, usually the bigger like
drop off.
Yeah, you're gonna be down for a while. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're gonna lose quite a bit after these 3 years, but it's just like then you get your picks back, and it's a cycle. So it's just like I would win now while you can.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, but I do think that, like you said, if LeBron leaves in 2 to 3 years, I can see AD requesting a trade, and I think. Honestly, Melo, a majority of the team that's on now is retired. Yeah. They're that old. But I honestly think trading Anthony Davis once LeBron leaves is the smart decision. Because he's shown he can't stay on the court, and you can get a superstar for him.
Or picks.
Yeah, you can get either a young player in picks or a superstar. And I guarantee you there'll be people that don't want to be in their current situation, and they'll be asking out, and Anthony Davis will be on there, and they might give them, the Lakers might
trade him to Chicago.
He did say at one point in his career he does want to play in Chicago. Yeah. That could potentially be something.
Nuts.
I'm assuming if AD goes to Chicago and the timeline we're talking about, DeRozan's gone. He's probably retired or with a different team. You probably still have Levine.
What are you even going to trade for AD?
I mean, the team now, they'd have to probably trade like Patrick Williams, Kobe White.
Probably all of them.
Who did they... multiple first-round picks, probably AO, all their young guys, and then picks.
So that would be a monster deal for the Lakers, in terms of rebuilding.
They could get some good stuff.
Or maybe do that deal now. Yeah. What if they did that deal now?
The only
they get picks, young players to go around LeBron?
It just if the Lakers don't think they can win a championship when LeBron is there, then I say do it. But if in their back of their mind they're like, we have LeBron, we can win at any time, then I think that they should go what Preston said, just go on the route of winning.
I feel like at any point, no matter what team you are or what situation you're in, if you have LeBron, it's your win now time. Yeah. Like I don't think there's a situation.
He's at the age now where it's like that.
I don't think there's a situation to where you can have LeBron on your team and you're just thinking about the future. Like you're winning now. You know, you need to win while you got LeBron.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Another thing I want to get your guys' opinion on: do you think they should fire Frank Vogel, or do you think they should keep him?
He won him a championship. He's playing with a trash team. I don't think he's the problem.
Yeah, I would.
Maybe a new voice in there would be good. So I think that might be a reason why they fire him. But they're not losing because of him.
Yeah, I don't think
they're also not playing the defense they're used to playing with him. He's a defensive coach, so I don't know.
I don't think they should fire him this year. I think they should fire him in not this year, not next year, but the year after. I think they should fire him because I don't think he's that great of a coach. I think he's an okay coach. But every team that he's had success with, he's had a top player on his team. When he was with the Pacers, he had Paul George, and now he has LeBron.
Yeah.
And so he's never been really good with like a meh team. So I think once LeBron leaves, or you start kind of start rebuilding. I think ship him out, get some young guy. Yeah. And I think, I don't think he's a problem. I agree with you guys on that, but I don't think he's going to be with the Lakers for very much longer. I think his walk kind of slowly going out the door.
Agreed.
So the Lakers suck, and they might continue to suck if they don't switch some things up. I mean, like we were talking about, LeBron. The whole Bronny situation we touched on a little bit. You guys kind of talked about what you guys were thinking on that. But LeBron basically said, wherever Bronny's going, I'm going. So, like I said, that basically guarantees him getting drafted.
Right.
As of right now, scouts project Bronny as a mid to late second round pick.
He's going one if you think of LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, he's a junior, so he could still improve. And some scouts are high on his playmaking and basketball IQ. But I just think if you're a team, so I go to the Thunder because they have 1 billion picks. I don't think the Thunder are going to do this. I think they're smart enough. But let's just say the Thunder select Bronny in the first round. They get LeBron for 1 year, and like let's just say they pass on a really good player that they could use to build their team just for 1 year of LeBron, and then LeBron retires, Bronny sucks, and then you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think that if you're a team that is like really good, but you need that one, I think you like need LeBron and you can win it all, I'm drafting Bronny. So I'm trying to think of a team that would need that.
But can still get a high enough pick.
Yeah, so like I would say the Clippers if they didn't have like Paul George and Kawhi. So like if they had the team they had now without Paul George and Kawhi, I would definitely draft Bronny in the first round.
I wonder if a team would tank just for that year.
Or maybe like a Jazz.
they could potentially, yeah.
Like I wonder if that'll be a factor in the season. Like you have a decent team, but you can't win a chip, so you just tank that year and get Bronny and LeBron.
I mean, yeah, it's very strategic because you're going to get LeBron. That's the thing. Like, that's the reason people
you have
want
to keep
Bronny.
in mind you're getting 1 year of LeBron.
Well, LeBron
So it's like
also
championship
isn't even
or bust,
going to
really.
require that much money. If you tell LeBron,
No, I think he said he's willing to pay for like minimum or like a little bit over the minimum.
exactly. He literally
during
like
that time.
So if you're, for example, if you're like the Thunder or something, say you don't even have a lot of space, because just say, well, the Thunder would. But if you're tanking and you're a decent team, you know what I mean, and you don't have a lot of space, I don't think that matters because no matter what contract you offer LeBron, he's going to accept it just because he wants to play this kid. So it's like you can offer him something really low.
Exactly.
And
Because you have the leverage on him for once.
He's going to you have the leverage on LeBron.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He has to do it. He wants. That's the only reason he's playing basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if Bronny doesn't become like a for sure first round pick and the team selects him, and obviously they get LeBron, do you think that it would cause some issues if they just didn't play Bronny and just played LeBron?
I think you would have to play Bronny a little bit because LeBron wants to play with him.
Yeah. Which I think, I mean, Bronny's what 17, so he's still super young. He could become really good. But as of right now, I don't think he's going to be much in the NBA, especially not to the level as his dad was.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I just see a danger, and like you said, I think there's going to be some teams that are going to tank and be like, oh, we're going to get like one of the greatest
I can
players
see
of
the
all time.
Knicks doing it.
Oh yeah, the Knicks would probably definitely do that because they're just dumb.
Yeah, that's why I just think. I think.
But
that'll
here's
happen.
something I did listen to. Let's say the Knicks do that,
What if the Cavs?
and they get LeBron, and LeBron wins a championship in New York, he's immortalized in New York forever, and potentially like the GOAT debate gets even stronger
because he's won a championship at a trash organization.
40 years old.
Yeah, he won. No, in the Cavs. I'm starting with the Cavs. He's won a trash organization. Goes to the Heat, dominates with a dynasty. Goes to the Lakers, wins a championship in one of the hardest pandemics the world has ever seen, and then goes to the Knicks, who have not been good since like
they haven't won.
Tony Stark and Patrick Ewing, and like maybe you could say Melo, and like 10 games with Linsanity, and you go out there and you win in New York. You're not only getting idolized in New York, you got idolized in LA, you got idolized in Cleveland. Like Cleveland fans, nobody hates LeBron.
And Miami.
Now there's a couple that still hate him, but
I wouldn't hate him. He won me a championship.
for the majority, he's
Yeah,
good.
and you won it in Miami.
There's some
so there's
salty
4
old
different
heads.
franchises that love you because you won 4 championships for them. Like you won a championship for each of them. So now you have 4 teams that love you. Who's gonna hate you besides like the Raptors because he destroyed their
and
anything?
the
But like
Celtics.
so now you have a thing like not only did he win however many championships he'll end up with if he wins one,
5.
but he's won 1 on 4 different teams. That would be crazy.
And I think what would be more impressive is the Knicks haven't won in 50 years to this
so
day.
bad.
So
Neither had the Cavs too. So
yeah, so it'll be to the level of the Cavs and probably crazier because the Knicks fans are just that
'Cause he's
crazy.
older. Yeah, and like the publicity you get with like when New York started off the year great, everybody's like, oh my gosh, the Knicks are insane, and then they're obviously
Crazier
they
than the
put them-
Cavs, though. I don't know. 3-1.
But if the
It
Knicks
would.
are gonna,
I think that there's no, it's not gonna be crazier than the Cavs, but
it would be just
like
as crazy.
media wise, it would be crazy.
Yeah, media wise and like
It's just because New York's a bigger market. But I feel like Cleveland they would enjoy the ring that they got more than the Knicks would if they won with
Yeah.
LeBron. But yeah, I mean, I honestly, like I said, I would not be surprised if the Knicks do that because if I'm being completely honest, barring some major change, they'll probably be a middle of the pack team for the next 2 or 3 years.
or lower.
And so, I mean, I
I
think
they'll still have RJ, they'll have Cam, and they'll have mean, they'll have some young guys.
Oh, they have a really good young core. They're just not
Will
playing.
be-
They're not playing any of them.
Yeah, quickly. And they probably won't have Julius Randle.
He'll be
So LeBron, I think, could take that team pretty far. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah, I think if you're in the 13 to 20 range and you take Bronny, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you don't use the lottery.
But
pick
if
on
you
him.
take him in the top 10 and he's like at the level that he is now, you're done. I think.
What if though you take him in like top 10 and becomes a superstar?
If you do that, then
You are
credit to
genius because you
You're
get a
complete
superstar
genius.
plus LeBron.
Then you're
That'd be the
Oh my
greatest
gosh.
pick of
Oh
all.
yeah.
That'd be the
Yeah.
smartest pick of all
If
time.
you do that, then you're a genius and you took a risk and it paid off. But then there's also the side that you could take a risk and it not pay off. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be really interesting. Like you said, teams are probably just going to tank to try to get LeBron for 1 year.
It's going to be crazy because it's the first 2-player pick ever.
Exactly.
You have a pick and you get 2 guys.
Yes.
It's crazy, and one of them is the
first-
greatest
It's
player
never
of all
happened
time.
in any sport.
In some opinion.
The first 2-player pick. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I do think that has a chance to screw a lot of teams up,
Yeah.
Yes.
but it could also help them.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of weight on Bronny.
As a Cavs fan, do you want him to go back to Cleveland, or do you think?
I think if
or
Cleveland,
do you think he would ruin everything that the Cavs have already built?
If Cleveland tanked and we got Bronny and LeBron, that'd be insane.
Or not even tanked. What if he just opted out of his contract and went to Cleveland? Because they have
but
a bunch of young stars that they're not going to win a championship with the team they have now, I don't think.
No.
But if you add LeBron to that team, oh my gosh, that's a championship team.
But the only thing, if he opts out though, then like even if he goes to Cleveland, you're just gonna.
I'm trading Sexton for him.
for Bronny.
No, for
LeBron.
Oh no, I just
LeBron.
mean he's gonna leave when Bronny gets drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get one more year of LeBron, and then you get LeBron's son take over the Cavs. Like, what if Bronny becomes crazy and goes and wins the championship for the Cavs? Not only did his dad do it, but he came and did it.
Yeah,
That's
but how
like
would he
a-
end up on the
that's
Cavs?
that's like a story out of a movie.
Yeah, I know, but that would be so dope.
But how would he end up on the Cavs if they didn't tank?
I mean, if they're middle of the pack. I mean, right now they're the 4th seed, so they would have a later round pick, and that's where Bronny's projected. So it could happen.
It could happen.
And I
It'll
mean,
be
maybe
interesting.
they'll trade up. I don't know.
I'm a Cavs fan. I'm wanting him back though.
Yeah.
He won me a championship, took me to so many finals, gave me a taste of winning for the first time in my life.
Me personally, I'm not trading for LeBron. If LeBron comes to me in free agency, I'm okay with that. But I'm not getting rid of any of my pieces because like you said, we're gonna have LeBron for 1-2 years max. And the team they have now is really good, really fun to watch. They have a really good young core, and they'll probably keep that young core, and they'll continue to draft more players. And I mean, you just have if LeBron just comes back for the last year of his career and just has a farewell tour with him and Bronny, I think that would be awesome. Yeah. Farewell tour in Cleveland with your son, can't get any better than that.
Exactly.
And I mean, like you said, I don't know if the Cavs would be championship contenders, but I think they'll definitely be good. But I wouldn't trade any of my assets to get LeBron now. Right. If I'm Cleveland, I would just ride with what you got, ride with the young guys, the team you have now. But if LeBron comes to free agency, all for it. But I'm not giving up pieces.
Agreed.
Another funny note that have you guys ever watched the White Man Can't Jump movie?
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
Is that the Jack Harlow thing?
Yeah. Jack Harlow's gonna be in the new White Man Can't Jump remake.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
He's a basketball guy, so.
He's a basketball guy. I haven't seen the movie. I'm gonna have to watch it, but it's supposed to be really good. Plus, they're making that movie with like LeBron and Adam Sandler are co-producing it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
with
sweet.
like a ton of. Have you seen that? Adam Sandler and LeBron are like co-producing a movie, and it has a ton of NBA players in it. It's like all NBA players and stuff.
Yeah,
It should be
that'll be
really
sweet.
cool.
Looks good.
And also tomorrow is Coach K's last game in Cameron Indoor.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
You see how expensive the tickets were?
Probably
They're
like a
expensive
couple
more.
$1,000.
$5,000 a ticket. Dude, that's more. Yeah, for a college game.
Because it's
Student pass is worth it.
For real, dude, you could go student pass for so much. Dude, I bet college kids
I would
right
just
now are
I
making
would
so
just
much
sell it. Just sell the
People are
tickets.
just selling them everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, Coach K is the greatest coach that they've had, and maybe arguably the greatest college coach ever.
Yeah, so there's, yeah. And it's so iconic. North Carolina at home.
I know,
the
yeah.
last
They
game.
I think they purposely did that.
Oh, they
They
definitely did.
lose.
That would be terrible if they lost. Because Duke's actually good. North Carolina's not. That'd be so funny.
Yeah, North Carolina's not that great.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, well, March Madness is coming up. I'm excited for that.
Already crazy stuff going on in college
I know.
basketball. So that'll
What
be
was
crazy.
it, last week or the week before? All the I think it was last week. It was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Teams 1 through 6 all lost.
Yeah, so like March is gonna be so crazy.
Yeah, I'm really excited for
Me
it.
too.
We might be doing a March Madness episode. I'm not sure yet.
Ooh,
but you
that'd be
guys
exciting.
Stay tuned.
Predictions?
Yeah.
Ooh, go through all 64
go.
rounds of brackets.
Yeah.
Each person.
Yeah.
4-hour podcast.
Is that yeah?
We can live stream it. We can do stuff like
Ooh,
that.
that could be fun.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
We
Stay
definitely
tuned,
gotta
yeah.
take brackets.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, share it to a friend. Make sure to subscribe and to follow us on all of our social medias. And have a good